humming to himself as he is thinking of his latest debts, juggling some numbered thoughts, wondering what might come next, and swears he won't ever stop unless he wants what he surely does not. Oh, Jim, John, Jackie, and Susie Q, they might have manners, but so do you. While we breathe, all of these words that make no sense, humming to himself as he is thinking of his latest debts, juggling some number thoughts, wondering what might come next, and swears he's right, though he's convinced himself it is. Working in an upscale place, she is thinking of her son's demise. On his epitaph, a doctor's bill she puts off for another time, but swears she won't ever stop unless she wants what she surely does not. Jim, John, Jackie, and Susie Q, they might have manners, but so do you. While we breathe, all of these words that make no sense. Not gonna see till my singing does wrong. Not gonna hear till the fires have burned out. Not gonna know, not gonna know.
Welcome to Denton, Texas.
When I first met Chance, I thought he was a good old boy from the country. But then when I went to visit him at his apartment, and there was just all of these incredible works of art everywhere that he made, it really impressed me. He was just an interesting person and really full of life.
He's pretty well grounded in some good country principles, which he'll never give up. And it's really fun to always see him stay in that same state of mind.
He's taken in parts from me, parts from his mother, the friends that were around the whole time he was growing up, and he's putting his own self together, so he's sick.
I was going to school at Texas A&M Commerce, and I just sketched this old man.
I didn't look at the physics of that.
I have no idea.
Just some
I just looked up like 18th century portraits, and this guy popped up, and I was like, he looks kind of cool.
It's very impressive stuff. Pleasure to meet you.
And I was going to paint him, but I didn't have any paint. I turned around and there was duct tape, so I just put duct tape on it. And I guess that's kind of where all this stuff came from.
But I mean, this is incredible. How can you do that? How can you imagine to do that?
Boredom.
You're very, very smart.
I don't know about that. Thank you.
My grandma saw it, and she was like, she's always pushed me and my brother and my sister to do like silly stuff that she thinks is funny, you know, and she's jokingly pushing us to do it.
Something told me that I was the only one that maybe saw it the way that it really is, and I felt that I was the one that needed to push him as much as I could to bring him into this field.
One day she just called me randomly. She was like, all right, make a duct tape JFK. And I was just like, I thought she was joking, you know, and I was like, okay, Grandma. So I was bored one day and I was just like, you know what, maybe I'm gonna try to do it again. And it was like 2 years later, and so I went to the store to get some duct tape, and they had like all these colors, and I was just like, I could do something with that. So that was actually the first one that was fully duct tape. Like since then, I've always had a project going.
What you doing, buddy?
Making business cards.
That ever gentle slow, Margaret Ann hangs her head and just keeps wondering. Her companion's been bleeding.
I just put a little piece of duct tape on everyone.
Thinking, oh, my sweet Sue, I won't be coming home now. That day that the rain came, just rose a flag wall, Mother Jones lays in bed, his children lying on the floor, and she got by.
Justin, the president of studios, just cleared out that area up there. It used to be offices, and now he turned it into a gallery.
We gave him an opportunity to work in our new art gallery space back in April, and he submitted one of his pieces, this Indian piece made out of duct tape, and it was the most recognized and most praised art piece that we had in our art show when we did a community art show here at the studio.
He's like, we need more stuff like this. I told him that I had like 10 more pieces that I could have up here, and so he called everyone else and was like, all right, we're done with this show, come get your stuff. And so he just started being like, well, you know, we'll let you just have your own gallery.
And so I would just like type a few letters and then move it up or down and over and back. So just doing this over and over.
Wasn't it hard to not hit the space bar?
Yeah.
I don't know what a typewriter is. They go up way back in the back.
But I mean, no, like it took a little bit of time. Like I would just do the O, like right here. It says on the YE. I would say like O, and then kind of back it up a little bit, and go up a little bit, and then hit the N, and then T.
Did you take actual lines from Sylvia Plath novels, or?
It's just one of her poems. It's called Maps.
So on some of these, did you just type over and over it?
Yeah, for like on her eyebrows, because they're darker in the picture. I had to type over it, and obviously right there. And I think it's just, yeah, and on her eyes. Just where it's darker. Trying to get like black, gray, and white shades.
Did you ever have a typo?
Oh yeah, there's so many typos in here.
Yeah, I see a lot of them. Right in this eyebrow area.
Oh yeah.
When I got my internship here, my boss asked me if I could do an art gallery upstairs with like industry related stuff, and he said, you know, you use duct tape, could you use gaff tape? Gaff tape's used in like the television and film industry to like hold down cords and stuff, and it doesn't leave any residue behind. It's made out of cloth, and duct tape's easier to rip, but it crinkles a little bit at the end whenever you rip it, especially whenever you get to ripping it in smaller pieces, and it gives it like a glossy look. Gaff tape is a lot harder to rip, and it gives it more of a matte look to it.
Oh, Chance!
What?
I just realized you mixed gaff with duct on this one.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the gaff tape, and I like the duct tape, and I really like it when they come together.
Yeah, glossy background, matte.
That's a really
subject.
Good effect.
My first gaff tape was Meryl Streep, and we did that for a screening that we had because the movie Silkwood was shot here at the studios. And so I did that one, and I thought it looked kind of cool. And I thought that I was still going to do the movie-related stuff up there, so I was like, I'll stick with gaff tape for a little bit.
That's actually Meryl Streep from Silkwood, which was shot here in the studios.
Okay. We always say in production, you know, gaff tape can be used for anything. And to see an artist that has embraced both gaff and duct tape is pretty amazing art form to be able to peel and stick and create a visual art piece out of a piece of tape.
Why did you choose, since you could get these colors in the duct tape, what did you choose to do it with the other tape? Is it because it's matte?
Yeah, well, I was originally trying to do a gallery with like movie and film related stuff. And so gaff tape. Did that. So I did it, and plus I stuck with it because it looks cool and matte.
That looks really good.
I think the response is wow. I mean, people can't believe that you can take a piece of tape and mold it into a masterpiece of an art form.
And then moved on to other.
I moved on to gaff tape just because I'm interning here actually, and my boss wanted me to do stuff with related items. He was like, "You already do duct tape, you do gaff tape," so I did. And I ripped my fingers apart, but it worked, I guess.
What do you mean? Why did it rip your fingers apart? Is it tough to tape?
Yeah, I mean, it's made out of cloth. It's so hard. Like my fingers like.
Do you not use scissors or anything to cut it?
No, I just.
So all of this is by your hand?
Yeah. This is incredible. Again, we were doing the film-based art, and so I was like Hitchcock, you know. So I was doing that, and we were wanting to make really big pieces for it, and so I was like, all right, might as well start with what I know best, tape, and just make it really big. And I was like, I'll do Hitchcock. He always uses blondes in his films, so I was like, we can use some blonde somehow. And I found this picture of him like this, you know, and he's got the birds on his shoulder. And I just took the birds off and made it look like the two girls were hanging onto his arm. That's Grace Kelly on his right, our left. It's Grace Kelly, and then the other one's Tippi Hedren. So I drew their hands, made it look like they were holding his arms, you know, like he's got them on his arms.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was cool because he's, I don't know.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock.
He's Hitchcock, he can do that.
This is very impressive stuff.
Thank you. But so Hitchcock, once I got their 3 faces done, I was like, I'm done. And I still had like 7.5 feet of wood to cover up, and I was just like, so that was hard to do. It took me like 30 to 40 hours on it.
Have you ever thought about making a giant mural?
That's the biggest one I've done. Yeah. And I mean,
that one's fantastic.
It killed me. Like doing ones like this, like as soon as I get their face done, I know what it's gonna look like. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be done. I got their faces done on that, and I was like, another 7 feet.
Right.
Yeah. So it took me a full month to do that.
That's
I was
really
like,
great.
no, I can't do that.
What he does is not easy at all. That's why nobody else has ever done it. Because it takes a lot of time and a lot of attention to detail.
I try picking a picture that's not, or an image that isn't like super well known, maybe more of an obscure image. Pretty much just pick people that are influential. You want me to do people that don't mean anything to me, but mean stuff to other people, just to sell it. And I don't want to do that. I just want to do stuff that means stuff to me.
Yeah, but this is why I said that earlier.
What?
That I don't think that you'll be an artist.
I don't want to be an artist.
Okay,
I
see?
just want to...
Then I answer the question more.
Well, I don't know. I'm just not going to do famous people that don't mean anything to me.
It's really good. And let's see, what is her name?
Anna.
Anna. Oh, and this is my favorite.
It's hard to start a piece, just like it's hard for me to start a book. I don't ever want to start a book, but once I get into it, it makes me want to go forward. That's kind of what it does in the art. I'm trying to find a picture that I took of my sister a while ago that I'm going to turn into a duct tape piece.
How long would it normally take you for a piece like that?
Normally takes me about 7 to 12 hours. Yeah. I sent her the picture and she was like, who is that? I was like, that's you. She said, seriously? I was like, yeah. And she was like, I look cool.
Where are you going to work on it primarily?
The floor of my apartment.
What gives this mess some grace unless it kicks, man? Unless it's fiction, unless it's sweat or it's songs. What hits against this chest unless it's a sick man's hand from some mid-level band? He's been driving too long on a dark windless night with the stereo on, with the towns flying by and the ground getting soft and the sound in the sky sand. So climb out quick.
I think I'm done.
Really?
Yep. It's harder than I remember. I just thought I was cheating when I trace.
Yeah.
I think that might be the hardest part.
You think maybe it's because it's somebody you know, like a family member?
That's probably some of it because I know what chasing looks like. I mean, like I've seen her from like all different angles, and if it does like a weird thing with the nose, I'm like, her nose doesn't look like that, but so I mean just a little bit of that, but there's so many different shades of gray and black and stuff, I have to select which ones are going to actually be visible. Like in my gallery, whenever I would meet people, they'd be like, "Are you the artist?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I made it." Or if I go up to them, I'm just like, "Hey, I'm Chance. I made this stuff." I'm not like I'm Chance the artist, you know, because I feel like there's kind of a negative connotation on that term.
He's very modest and very humble, and he doesn't want to draw attention to himself, but that's just something he's going to have to get used to because he's going to get a lot of attention with this stuff. It's incredible.
I think it is very creative. He's definitely different than just regular artists with paint or sketches.
Times when someone's got to reach out, or we'll all just be the same, so someone's got to do something different. So that's what he's done. It looks good.
Well, I don't consider the word artist to be that exclusive. I figure if you do something for the sake of doing it, not for money and not for showing off, you're an artist. And he, you know, is the epitome of that.
Chance was here as just a production assistant, and you know, he goes, "I'm not really an artist." I said, "Yes, you are." You know, he keeps on telling me he's not an artist, but he truly is an artist.
I think you could say that Chance is an artist. You could even say that it's something more than that, because it's a new medium that nobody has ever done before. So he's an innovator and he's an artist. I don't think of duct tape when I think of art, but that's the great thing about his stuff. He makes it into something entirely new. Instead of something that's kind of utilitarian, it's more beautiful.
The special thing about Chance's art is that he's doing it, he would do it like if there was no one yet to even look at it. He would do it just because it's in his nature, just to always be messing around with stuff like that.
The term artist, it scares me. I mean, yeah, I would consider it art, you know, just because it's made for people to look at. Anything can be art no matter what you make it with.